Now investigating what could be one of the most dangerous intelligence breaches in decades. More than 100 classified documents leaked on social media containing U.S. national security details and information on Ukraine's war, the Middle East, and China. Republican Congressman Brad Wenstrup sits on the House Intelligence Committee, and he joins us now. Congressman, happy Easter. Glad to have you with us this morning. Contextualize this for. How big a deal is this leak and the information contained? It's now on social media.
Well, I think it's a huge deal, obviously. But first of all, let me say have a blessed Easter to you as well. And I appreciated the last story as an Iraq war veteran and someone as a surgeon was called into Walter Reed to take care of some of the wounded from that exit that they call wasn't chaos. But going to what you were talking about, the 100 documents or so, as reported by the New York Times, and you mentioned about Ukraine, Middle East, and China, very serious. And the Biden administration is saying very little. Maybe they're worried that it'll rekindle some of the president's malfeasance with classified documents, but the Pentagon confirmed the leak. On Thursday, they said they were looking into a potential leak. Friday, the disclosures widened. You know, the question comes in, was this stolen from within or was it hacked from outside? And they mentioned that there were slides. Obviously, this was electronic. And it was marked by the Pentagon Joint Staff. That's the type of document that it said it was. The Pentagon has said they're legitimate, but also altered. So that's kind of an interesting point right there. They said it was altered in a way to overstate Ukrainian losses and to downplay Russian losses. Well, why would that be? Who would do that? Well, likely Russia would do something like that because it would maybe for the U.S. sort of diminish our support for what we're doing, to say things that aren't working, or for the Ukrainians to demoralize them, and for Russians to give them a sense of winning. Right. So this seems like it might be disinformation along with real information.
And it's almost impossible to parse where that disinformation might be originating, what is real, what is false when it comes to information versus disinformation. One more quick follow-up on that, and I know we're tight on time. The documents reveal things like the U.S.'s spying operations across the globe, how integrated our spying operations are in Russia. As you mentioned, projected losses for Russia and Ukraine in their war. But what I'm curious about, and I heard you say, could be hacked outside, could be stolen inside. How does something like this get out? How is it leaked?
Well, that I don't know, and we need to track the source as best we possibly can. But you brought up something real important there, Will, is they can learn from this what our techniques are, how we are able to gather our information. There needs to be an investigation and who had access to this type of information. But leaks don't seem to bother people, or we don't seem to get anywhere with investigations. Just look at the Supreme Court. Did we get anything from those leaks and the investigation that followed? We didn't.
Right.
And I can go back to Zero Dark 30 coming out, and I said to James Clapper in a hearing, how did Hollywood get all that information? He just casually said, leaks.
Wow. Okay, this is important and deserves a lot of time, but we're going to have to fit into the time that we do have together. You know, international relations often takes place not through direct words, but through actions that have to be interpreted. The United States has sent a bipartisan codel of legislators over to Taiwan to send a message, in their own words, of deterrence to China. Hey, don't mess with China. Don't mess with Taiwan. We have Taiwan's back is the message. China is now sending a message back, Congressman. They are simulating military precision strikes against Taiwan. They're on their second day of drills like this. Now, how do we read China's actions here? What are they communicating?
They're communicating a show of force, and that the tensions are rising within China, that they don't like this. I think that we have to show that strength. We want to deter any future action, but this may be a back and forth right now, and hopefully that's all it is or all it will be. But look, America supports Taiwan. There's no doubt about it, both sides of the aisle, and we have to continue to show that to them. And they're going to try and show their show of force and try and intimidate Taiwan, and I don't think Taiwan's being intimidated. When I went there, they're not intimidated. They will fight to the death rather than have China take them over.
So dual saber rattling until someone pulls the saber out. That's got to be the international diplomacy trick. of understanding when someone might pull the saber out and hoping that doesn't happen. All right, Congressman Wenstrup, great to talk to you this morning on some very serious and important topics. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Will.
All right.